Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this other step of our learning path. It is a step that we do in collaboration with SONAE, because when you talk about and think about Portugal, you cannot not think about SONAE. How to be self-conscious, organized, and focused. Three things that our mini companies that are competing for this year JA Europe Company of the Year competition need to keep in mind if they want to get the award of the best mini company next week virtually from Portugal. So how to be self-conscious, organized, and focused? We need to ask the experts. And here we have great experts, which is Marta Cordeiro Cunha. She is the head of brand communication and sustainability in SONAE. 355,000 young entrepreneurs this year have been self-conscious, organized, and focused to compete in the largest European entrepreneurship challenge. And some of them were so focused they could win the national finals and now are getting to the tension, the moment in which everybody is waiting for, getting the award. Without further ado, and very thankful for SONAE for these partnerships, I give the virtual floor to someone who is definitely self-conscious and focused. We need to talk about if he's organized or not. Fred Fesas Vital, the CEO of JA Portugal. Fred, the virtual floor is yours.
Hi, Salvatore. Thank you for an always inspiring introduction. I'm organized, but we can talk about it. No problem.
We'll do. There is always room for improvement.
Yes, always. So, SONAE, what can I tell about SONAE? SONAE is a multinational corporation managing a wide portfolio of companies, which is very relevant in Portugal and in the world. In this webinar, we are going to be driven through an inner conscience and knowledge, which is absolutely key to make the right decisions, to organize our lives, and to stay focused on what we must do. Based in the beautiful city of Porto, in the north of Portugal, SONAE has been a partner of JA Portugal since 2009, 11 years now, in the category of group associates. Over these years, more than 1,500 SONAE volunteers have already impacted more than 26,000 students through the promotion of primary, secondary, and university education programs, and also through the contribution of jurors in competitions and other JA Portugal events. SONAE volunteers streamlined all of these programs for a total of more than 14,000 hours of volunteering. Impressive numbers. SONAE will be one of the local companies to sponsor a subscription prize, as you know. SONAE judges, Mariana Valença, Mariana Lemos, and Tânia Calçada, will evaluate the reports and video pitch of all the teams and select the 5 that best fill the criteria to win the SONAE Award, which is SONAE Social Entrepreneurship Award. I really like this award. It's a really good award. And in this award, basically, it aims to highlight the many companies that best demonstrate the passion for social change patterns in order to make them more inclusive and environmentally friendly, introducing new products or technological services, or presenting a different approach from the traditional one. And with no further ado, I will now present our guest today. Although Salvatore already talked about Marta, I'm going to be a bit more deep in the analysis of who is Marta. Okay, so Marta Cordeiro Cunha has worked in SONAE for almost 20 years, having already worked in several areas of the group, namely at SONAE MC, in price management, commercial management, logistics, innovation, customer management, and since November 2019, in brand communication and sustainability management of SONAE SGPS, which is the holding of Grupo SONAE. In parallel with her work at SONAE, Marta also teaches at some of the most prestigious management schools in areas such as innovation, creativity, and customer centricity. She has a degree in management by economics faculty in the University of Porto, and take note, in 2014, she completed the Executive MBA of Porto Business School, whose performance culminated in the MBA Student of the World Award. So she was awarded because she was the best student of the MBA in the world. Amazing. This webinar will be more inspirational, also due to Marta's particular traits. She is determined, focused, creative, and passionate about what she does. She's married, has 2 children, and hobbies as diverse as theater and painting. She does not neglect work, and her children do not lose an extracurricular activity. Only with a lot of organization, discipline, and determination, it is possible to reach this point of the career and succeed at so many levels. And this is why she is here today to talk about how to be self-conscious, organized, and focused. Thank you for being here, Marta. Thank you for your time and for sharing all your knowledge. And now the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Thank you so much for the invitation and for that presentation. And now I was wondering, who's that Marta? I want to meet her. That's a very flattered presentation. Thank you. Congrats to all the students that are participating on this challenge. Really a great initiative. As you already know, SONAE is one of JAP partners. And to help you understand what we do, I will share my desktop so you can see the presentation, okay? So I'll include system audio. Everyone was worried about I'm going to not showing everything. Here it is, the presentation. So good morning. So what I'll try to do is to show you a little video, because I think it's better for you to understand what is SONAE through the video rather than me talking about it, okay? So hopefully it will work. Let's see it.
Every day, we are faced with an increasingly demanding and complex world, which gives rise to new challenges and opportunities, disruptive technological innovations, the increase of social inequalities, the systematic runover of planetary boundaries, and different generations with specific preferences and expectations. The world is changing. SONAE is changing, but most importantly, is helping to shape the future of businesses while improving the everyday life of millions of people. SONAE is a long-living company with a strong corporate culture, with a clear vision and the same robust set of values since the beginning. The desire to set the way forward led us to build a multinational company that manages a diversified portfolio of businesses with leading market positions. It was with that purpose that we developed modern food retail in Portugal, and it was thanks to the enthusiasm of our consumers that we've looked to move forward and diversify our value proposition in retail, introducing new and innovative concepts, learning and improving with each new step with our partners and suppliers. We keep expanding to new formats, favoring proximity as well as convenience, while leading the digital transformation in food retail as well as in the health and wellness segment. Being ambitious and open to new challenges led us to open the first modern shopping centre in Portugal. Nowadays, we have a truly global presence and have evolved into new forms of ownership and service rendering all over the world, becoming leaders in this industry. Today, we are the most awarded company in the sector, an even greater responsibility. We have broken through barriers to create the largest entertainment and telecom operator in Portugal, and we continue to search for the best solutions in order to meet our customers' needs, integrating different services to provide tailor-made solutions. We strive to create innovative concepts and take them all over the world, always with the consumer's entire family in mind. We have a relentless focus on innovation and constantly create solutions for everyday life. And we do so with an increasingly digital focus across all of our retail banners. digital revolution brought us new ventures and challenges. Today, technology is a core part of all of our businesses. And it was the desire to broaden our horizons that made us reach new geographies and expand into such diverse areas, ranging from the most advanced technology to financial products. We are a purpose-driven company, able to attract the best talent. Our journey has only been possible thanks to the enthusiasm and commitment of our teams. We are fully invested in the continuous training and development of our people since day one. We do not know what challenges the future holds, but we want to continue to be part of the lives of those around us in the most sustainable way. Despite how much we've changed in all these years, we know that some things stay the same. It is our purpose to make life easier and simpler. After all, it is people who show us the way, who keep us moving and never let us stop. Because tomorrow can clearly be better than today. SONAE, improving life.
So as you can see in the video, we are a diverse company with several businesses, but our mission is the same for all of them, to create economic value and social value and to live innovation. And that's why we decide to attribute this award that considers the social entrepreneurship. We are eager to see your ideas on this special issue. So sorry. So let's start. But before we start, I want to realize if the chat is working. Can you please, for instance, write down the name of your country? Is that possible for you? Just for me to see if it's working or not. I will give you some seconds. Okay. So with that, I know that at least you have some technical issues, or I do have some technical issues because I'm not seeing your answers. So I'll move forward. If you need something, just try to write down to the organization so I can see it. So
we have Slovakia, Israel, Italy that's coming up.
Oh, you are seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
We'll
Why?
It's in the question and answer part.
It's in the Q&A part. It's not on the chat.
Okay. That's why. So can you tell me again the names of the countries?
We have Slovakia, we have Israel, Italy, Portugal, I think. Yeah.
Great, amazing.
Belgium, Austria, Poland.
Oh, amazing. It's really nice to see how far is this webinar going. So I will need your help.
Czech Republic. So I'll stop here.
Okay, so I will need your help when I need the answers. You can write it down and you can tell me the answers, because right now I don't know exactly why I'm not seeing it, but there's no problem. So you all probably know these people like Mother Teresa of Calcutta, Leonardo da Vinci, or Marie Curie, Louis Pasteur. Can you tell me, for instance, I don't know, for Mother Teresa of Calcutta, do you know her? Can you tell me exactly? She found the Missionaries of Charity, Roman Catholic religious congregation that managed homes for people who are dying. You know the diseases she was looking for. Can you write it down? Can you tell me, Salvatore, the answers? No one knows. It was for people dying with AIDS and leprosy and tuberculosis. Leonardo da Vinci had painted Mona Lisa, as you all probably know. Marie Curie was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, as you also probably know the innovations led to the development of the X-rays. Louis Pasteur, it was a French biologist renowned with his discoveries of the principles of vaccination. So this is all people with extraordinary capabilities, as you know. And when we look at this picture, can you tell me about Cristiano Ronaldo? Everyone knows him. Of course, about Greta Thunberg, everybody knows. What about Charli D'Amelio? Do you know her? I will need your help, Salvatore, to see the answers. Do you know Charli D'Amelio?
Probably nobody knows because
nobody knows.
Not getting any news.
Okay, so at my home, this is the most important person, actually, for my children, because she has 69 million followers at TikTok, which is a social network that right now it's controlling all the lives of the young children right now. So what make these old people achieve their success? We can say is luck. Well, luck, as you can probably know, is a lot of work. So it's not just luck. Of course, being at the right time, in the right place, with the right people, it's a good thing, but it's not enough. I will share you the story of Thomas Edison, that, as you all probably know, discovered the lamp. So when he was at school, the teacher gave him a note and asked him to deliver the note to his mother. When he arrived home, he delivered the note, and the mother read it and said something like this: "Your son is a genius. This school is too small for him and doesn't have enough teachers for training him. Please teach him yourself." And so Thomas Edison stopped going to school, and he was taught by his mother. A lot of time after this, after he was a renowned inventor, after her death, his mother's death, actually, he found this small piece of paper and read exactly what it was written on that paper, and it was a little bit different. "Your son is adult, mentally ill. We won't let him come to school anymore." That was really what was written down on that piece of paper that Thomas Edison delivered to his mother when he was just a little boy. But what happened here is that his mother had faith on him, as if you will, had faith on his capabilities, or she was just being a mother and help him. In either way, she gave him the confidence to become the extraordinary inventor he became. So he wrote down Thomas Edison was an added child that, by a hero mother, became the genius of the century. Probably when Thomas Edison was 10, her mother knew him better than he knew himself. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about. The thing is, there's a lot of things that we know about ourselves, but there's a lot of things that we don't know about ourselves. So we can divide all of this knowledge about ourselves, our capabilities, in 4 different boxes, as you will. There's an open self, the information that you know about you, and the others know about you. It's the open self. Everybody knows that you are tall, or that you have brown eyes, or brown hair, or if whatever. Everybody knows about you, and you also know about it. But then there's a hidden self, information that you know about you, but the others don't. Something that you are not so transparent about, something that you want not to share, that you want to save for yourself, that you know about you. Sometimes it's a fear of something. It's something that makes you nervous, or something that you can do, but you don't want to share. Something that you know about yourself, but the others don't. It's the hidden self. Now, when you go to the right part of the screen, you can see the unknown to self. So there's a blind self. The blind self is information about you that you don't know, but the others do know. And it's a little bit strange when we think about this. So is there a part of me that the others know about and I don't know? Well, it's true. It was what happened with Thomas Edison, but it happens all the time with us. Something that someone tells you something about you that, well, I don't realize that I can do that, or that you feel that about myself. Well, that's information that the others know that you don't know. And at last, there's a part of you, the unknown self, that gets information about you that neither you nor others know about yourself. Well, what I think about my goal in life is that I must reduce the unknown part about myself. I must deeply understand what am I capable to do. I need to look at this is called the window, a window about myself, and know deeply what are my capabilities, what are my limits. Because if I know that, I can go further on those limits. I believe that there's a correlation between knowing your limits and live your life at 100%. Because when you know your limits, you can start trying to stretch them, to go further, to go higher, because you have that kind of goal. Charlie Chaplin used to say, I've learned that it's going to take me a long time to become the person I want to be. I must be patient. But I also learned that I can go beyond the limits I put myself. Because this is the problem. Sometimes we don't have that limit, but we impose that limit to ourselves. We say, I will not be able to do that. I can't do that. We don't believe that we are capable to do that. Well, we must start believing it. We must start knowing, of course, the limits of our capabilities, but try to stretch them, try to understand until where can we go. What does it take? Well, it only takes courage. But it's a courage to know who we are, what's our dreams about, and finally, but as important as the other two, trying to do something about it, not to wait for that dream to come true without doing anything about it. We must understand who we are, what are our dreams about, but start doing something about it. So let's practice. I would like you to write down, if you will, you can share, but there's no need, but just write down on your piece of paper one thing, just one thing that you want to achieve until the end of this year. You have 30 seconds, just one thing that you want to achieve until the end of the year. I will give you some moments. Okay, now that you probably have a piece of paper with one thing that you want to achieve until the end of the year, what I will ask you to do is to write down 3 things that you are going to do to achieve that goal. But there's one rule now, one specific rule. One of the tasks that you are going to write down must be accomplished until the end of this week. Okay? So I need you to write down 3 things that you need to go, that you are going to do to achieve the goal that you write it. But one of the tasks must be accomplished until the end of this week. Okay. I will give you some moments. Okay, hopefully you already have your tasks, and remember, this is your time. So you can either right now look at your piece of paper and see, oh, I decided not to do the exercise, so my piece of paper is blank. Or I took these 2 minutes to start doing what I need to achieve my dream. That's your call. That's your time. That's your life. And sometimes it just takes a minute for us to get down to a piece of paper and write down what we want to do. It's very, very important to do it. Well, once upon a time, my company challenged me to go study, to do the MBA, as you already, Rico already told you about. As you know, it's a master that you can take with a 1 year and a half of study. It was an executive version, so I was supposed to do it still when I was still working. At the time, my daughter was 5 years old and my son was 1 year old. So as you can imagine, doing the MBA was my dream. It was too expensive for me, so it was something that I couldn't afford, but the company was proposing to pay it for me. So as you can imagine, when they asked me, they proposed to me that I can do the MBA, what have I done? Well, I said, no thanks. I think it's better to do another training course. And why? If it was my dream to do the MBA, why was this my answer? Well, because I was afraid. I didn't get the courage to accept it. I was afraid of the failure. I thought maybe I will not be good enough because I'm already too old for this kind of studies. So, and they are paying me. So I will be very embarrassed when they realize that I will not be good enough. But as Thomas Edison's mother, I had a boss who believed in me and told me, no, you are going to do the MBA. And I took the course and I succeeded. It's true. So 1 year and a half later, when I was calling him, I was at London and said, I won the award of the best MBA student of the world. He wasn't surprised at all. But me, I still can't believe in it. When I look at this photo, it seems like another person, another life, something that didn't happen to me. And that's the thing. Sometimes we need this push from some other person that knows as well, that probably knows something about ourselves that we don't know, and believes in us and gives us the strength that we need to make that step. And that was what happened to me. And I could be, it's impossible for me to be more thankful than I am to my boss, to the company that I worked, because they really bet on me. They believed in me, and I did it. During that time, I thought I cannot disappoint them. I cannot disappoint myself. And so let's do it, and let's do it well. And I achieved it. It's really, it was for me very, very, very important what happened. So what is success? How can we define the components of this success? Well, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, it's not an academic study, it's a combination of hard skills and what I call human skills, because I don't like to use the expression soft skills. Well, hard skills is what you learn, but the learning process varies through the age. For instance, when you are a little child, I don't know if you probably have brothers and sisters, small brothers and sisters, and you tell them, please don't touch the fire because it's too hot. The little child, the toddler, will put the hand to feel the heat. So they learn through the senses, through experiences. That's what happened. Well, during the school time, I don't know if probably it doesn't happen to you, but I must confess here that when I look what happened to me is that I was used to study to pass in the exam, like memorize dates or rules or names and write it down on the exam and then try to forget it to create space to new material, to new disciplines that I need to know. And so what happened was I wasn't really, in some point at school, I wasn't really learning. I was trying to know something, but I was not understanding. And Albert Einstein has this quote that I think fabulous. Any fool can know. The point is to understand. And this is the most important thing. When we are at school, when we are at the university or high school or whatever, are we really getting the knowledge? Are we really understanding or just memorizing things? And of course, sometimes when we are at school, we think, well, why in the world am I trying to memorize these dates or these facts? I will not need this on my life. Well, that's not the point. The point is you are being trained to think, and that will be useful wherever your profession is. And that's why the point is to understand. The point is to train your brain to understand things. Now you are trying to understand this discipline, then the other, and then you will understand everything because you are trained to. What I try to do is to be complete. And this is why I'm always trying to learn different things. During my 20 years of experience at SONAE, I always change my profession, the things that I'm working on, every 4 years. Why? Because I need to learn something new. Right now, with this new area, I'm learning every day. It's exponential because it was not my comfort zone. It's something different from before. So I'm learning, I'm getting more versatile, I'm getting more complete, I'm understanding more parts of myself that I knew before. So I'm reducing the part of me, the hidden part of me. I'm learning more about me. And I want to be chosen. I want to be chosen to the best projects. And if I'm complete, if I'm versatile, if I'm good on what I'm doing, I will be chosen for several projects, and that will give me the most important power, the freedom of choice, the freedom to choose, I want this project and not that project. And that happens when you are at school. You know, when you have some characteristics that everyone loves about you, everyone wants you on their team. And that's what you want. You want the freedom of choice. Now, you can work with person A or B or C because you have that freedom. When you are not so complete, that's not happening. You are not so chosen by the others. That's why you need always try to be the most complete person that you can be, to know yourself, to know exactly what's special about you, in what kind of activities do you shine, and leverage on that. Because it's impossible for everyone to be good on everything. That is not going to happen. That's why you need to know yourself, your strength, your brand. It's very important to understand that you have a brand. When people think about you, think about, oh, that nice girl or that nice boy or that not so nice boy or girl. There's a brand. People know you by your actions, by the way that you interact with them. Everything is being evaluated at every time. And that is not a problem if you are faithful, if you are transparent with yourself, if you know yourself. You are presenting yourself as you are, and that's fine. And it's very important for you to know it, to know what people are sensing about you. So never forget what you are, what you want to become. We are a cocktail of experience, I think, during all the time. We are a complete cocktail of experience. If I hadn't had my children, I wasn't the person that I am today if it wasn't for them, for instance. They taught me a lot every day, as probably you can learn from your siblings or from your friends or from your family. It's the same. Because I have this kind of experience of having, in my case, 4 brothers and sisters, I'm a different person. For having a daughter and a son, I'm a different person, and so on and so forth. If I hadn't my professional experience until now, I would be a different person. If I hadn't changed so much during my career, I would be a different person. Not a better person or a worse person, but a different person. That's my point. Because there's no recipe like you only can have my life. No, you will have your life the way you want to live it. But you need to understand that all the experiences that you are getting from this life are building yourself. For instance, you are participating right now on this contest. You will be a different person than the other students that are not. And of course, if I didn't have my theater and my paintings, I probably won't be so happy, because it's something that it's part of me. It's also part of me. It's part of who I am, what I can do on stage, because it's something that gives me pleasure. So it's something that I can discover another part of me when I'm on stage just acting. Everything that you do you will have the opportunity of getting out your brand, your fingertip, your message. So think about everything that you do, the way that you interact, the choices that you make, because everything will give you that brand. And if you want to be a strong brand, and if you want to make a difference, you need to start planning today, and you need to start working on that plan today. Not thinking that it's something that you will going to start in 5 years old, because the truth is there's always something that you can accomplish this week. And that is your responsibility, because this is your time, this is your life, this is your decision. What are you going to be doing this afternoon? And what you decide, that decision will help you or not to accomplish your dream. If you want to be remembered for something that you did, if you want that, if you want to be remembered as a fabulous son or daughter, or a fabulous student, or a fabulous friend, whatever, it doesn't matter, it's your life. But if you want to be remembered as that person, what's your plan? And what can you start doing today to accomplish? Once again, it only takes courage. Courage to know yourself. Courage to know your dreams. And start doing it. Start putting in practice something that will lead you to that dream, to achieve that dream. And it's as simple as that. Knowing yourself, know what you want to achieve, and do something about it. Don't wait for someone to do it for you, because it's not going to work. It's as simple as that. Because, as Mark Twain once said, the 2 most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. So thank you so much.
Hi there, Marta. Thank you. It was an amazing, very inspiring presentation. Wow, I had a lot of insights myself. So, and for you to know, I did my exercise. So what I want to achieve, until the end of this year is to have the greatest competition of JA Europe ever. And actually, it's next week. This is my main goal, and I'm starting to do something about it. Actually, I'm doing it a lot. But this week, I will get all my VIP guests on board, hopefully, and this is my main goal now. Okay, thank you so much. Some strong messages. One of them, I took my notes, is basically, thank you for sharing how you were afraid to, to get the opportunity that SONAE gave you to have the MBA, because the message you're sending there is, in my point of view, it's okay to be afraid. So it's okay to be afraid. And what you can do is basically use your fear as a lever and as a motivator rather than staying blocked by it. And actually, we have some participant who shared with us, Talia. She shared that because of the coronavirus, she's afraid to go out, and she needs courage. Marta, do you have any advice for Talia how to work on her courage?
Well, what I think, Talia, is that of course it's a very special context right now, so we must be careful. But if you are being careful, if you take into account all the security measures, you can start going out. But of course, not trying to think that the problem does not exist, because it's a problem, exists, it's right here, and you cannot ignore it, as some people are doing. In my opinion, of course, you cannot ignore it at all. But if you take all the measures that the sanitary and the health departments are giving to you in your country and in your city, then you must start feeling a little bit safer and start with small steps, only small steps to do it, to achieve it.
Thank you, Marta. Another big message. I really like the slide where you showed the matrix with hidden self. And that's amazing. I didn't know that matrix. It's really useful. I think I'll use it.
It's Joe-Harry window, the name of the concept.
Okay, what's the name?
Joe-Harry window.
Okay, Joe-Harry window. Thank you so much.
Joe-Harry window.
I'm learning. Now I need to understand the matrix, not only memorize it, right?
Exactly. It's not knowing, it's about understanding.
So while we wait for some questions here from our participants, I would like to, to tell you that I also have my B-sides, and I play guitar. I like to sing. One of my dreams would be to be a part of a music play, So, and it's really incredible, the adventure of knowing yourself, and it's probably the best and greatest adventure of a lifetime.
Exactly.
And the process, in my case, has been giving me some good surprises, some not so good surprises along the way. But most of all, it allowed me to understand better who I am and how will I react to certain challenges. What are basically my capacities and limits? And that's really important. Thank you for reminding us of that. We have a question here, which is, you talked about people who know part of us that we don't, and that stimulates, and it's good for us. But when people do exactly the opposite, without being mean, there are people who limit us and make us impossible to do what we want. A father who doesn't let his son take the course he wants, a husband or wife who doesn't let his or her partner act in freedom, a friend who says, don't participate in JA's programs because it gives work.
Yes, and that's why you need to know a lot about yourself and what your dreams about, because of course there are a lot of people that are influencing yourself, and you must select also through the years. You're going to be able to select the people and the influence that you need to get in your life. And be careful, because I'm not saying that you must be surrounded only with people that says exactly what you want to hear. It's not what I'm saying, but someone that really can help you achieve your dreams and in your life, because it's not about their lives or their dreams or the way they look at life. It's your life. Someone that can give you an honest answer. And for someone, okay, it's her opinion or his opinion that you shouldn't participate or whatever, but you have your own head, you have your own sources of information to make your own decisions, to own it. And of course, there's a lot of different contexts that sometimes it's not as easy as I'm telling you, because you have different contexts, familiar contexts and so on, and sometimes it's not easy to make that dreams come true at that age. For instance, when I look at my mother, for instance, my mother at 18 years old, she decided to leave home because she wanted to study, and my grandfather just wanted to work on agriculture because they were from the north part of Portugal, and by that time the girls will not go to school. So she decided to leave home, to come to Oporto, start a job without any money, and then when I was at college, she was at college with me, taking her course on economics. You know, when she was finishing, I was entering, because she decided it was her dream. She wasn't able to accomplish that dream when she was 20 years old. She only accomplished when she was 40 years old, but she did it. She never forget her dream. And it wasn't possible for her because of her father and so on to do it at that time, but she never let it go. So yeah, sometimes life is hard. Sometimes it's not possible to do. People doesn't have the same opportunities. It's not fair. I can understand that, but stick with that. Believe in yourself, believe in your dreams. Sometimes it's not on the time that you wish, but hopefully you can get there.
So basically, take your life in your hands and take responsibility for what you decide. But yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so I have some questions for you as well while we wait for other questions, but I'm sure that Salvatore has some question as well, because he always has. So Salvatore.
I think he knows me by now. I think
I've
joined
He
Junior
knows him
Achievement.
better than you.
I joined Junior Achievement a few months ago, but I feel that Fran knows me sometimes better than my wife. So we're spending too much time together, virtually this time. Yes, Marta. No, thank you so much. That's very interesting, and actually, I learned a lot. But I also made a reflection, and the reflection is we tend to make those self-reflections in the moment in which we have crisis. Exactly. Not necessarily in the moment where everything goes well. When everything goes well, we're taken by the day-to-day, we do our things, we do our routine, we don't stop and really say, okay, now it's really the time to think strategically, to think where do you want to be, what do you want to achieve. But we have this tendency instead that we need to have a crisis to really pause and go back to the basic and really understanding values, as this COVID-19 crisis is showing it. So what can we tell to our entrepreneurs as a preventive measures to the crisis rather than just a solution to the crisis?
Well, it's the same with exercise. You do exercise. If you were a girl like me, you start doing exercise in June before going to the beaches on July, you know? And that's not the way you are.
If you're like me, you don't do it in June, not even in December, but okay, that's
things like that.
I'll get better. That's okay. That's the objective by the end of the year.
What I'm saying is that you must train yourself for this kind of moment. So if I decide that when I go back to school in September, there's where I need to stop and analyze my life and trying to figure out what I want for the next year, then you can do it every year at the same time. Well, when you look at the New Year's Eve resolutions, for instance, it's something that people take that moment to do that reflection for the year. And then by the end of January, they don't remember anymore. Why? You know, one of the things, and that's why I ask you to write down the goal, because it's been proven that when you write down the objectives, the probability of achieving that increases a lot. It's amazing. When, for instance, when you tell other person your goal, you will achieve it more successful. That's why when people really wants to stop smoking, they tell everyone, because they need this peer pressure. Oh, you are picking a cigarette. You told me that you want to quit smoke. And if you don't want that, you are not sharing that information with the others. So when you write down your goals and you tell the others the goals, your level of compromise gets higher. And that's really, really, really important if you really want to achieve. It's not something that you are just saying, oh, I really wanted to do this. No, no, no. When you really want to achieve that, then you write down, you do your plan, and you start today. Not tomorrow, not next year, not whatever. You start today. Well, when I paint, I know that I'm not Leonardo da Vinci. I play for the fun of it. I play for that moment. And that's what I go to another world during those 2 hours, and that's enough for me. I'm not saying that all of your dreams must be, well, being number one of everything. No, sometimes you are just doing something because it's fun for doing it, and it's okay. It's okay. But when you have these big achievements that will take some effort from you, and effort not only for one time, but for a period of time, then write it down. Do your plan and start doing it.
Wow. Salvatore, is that enough for you?
Definitely my motivation went up 100%. Definitely. So I think I do not need just a piece of paper here. I need a white paper of 300 pages to already write down all the things came up on my mind while Marta was talking.
Okay, meanwhile, we have some comments here. The people, actually, Israel is very active, and they're saying they love the presentation. And Noga has a question for you, Marta. Did it ever happen that your courage went down because of something? If it happened, how did you brought it back up?
Well, of course. Sometimes I just think, well, enough of this. I can deal with this anymore, and I cannot. It's too much, because I have this toxic person in my life, or in my work, or in my family, or I had a fight, or I tried so many different ways, and I'm not seeing a way to get out. And sometimes we have that kind of moment. You know, there's a book that I love. The name is The 7 Habits for High Efficient People. It's a very old book, 7 habits. And one of the habits is sharpen the saw. What does this mean? If you are trying to cut trees in a forest, and you have 2 people doing that, and one is like, I cut the tree, and never stops. And the other cuts 3 trees and then stops and sharp the saw. And then starts once again. At some point, it looks like he's not getting the same number of trees down, but he is. Because during the time, the other one, the first one, it doesn't have the strength, doesn't have the sharpened saw, and so much to get the work done. So sometimes what you need to do is to stop. Well, this is not the way. Let's stop. Let's do another thing. Let's go painting for 2 hours. Let's talk about a different person. Let's get a new perspective about the things. Because sometimes you are so much in debt with the problem that you cannot see the way out. And you can need some help from a different person, from a different perspective. And there's no problem with that. Sometimes the answer is not lying in our heads, and that's okay. But you must understand that moment and understand when you need help and who can help you amongst you. Who can help you, or what kind of activity can help me? For instance, sometimes I hate to run, but sometimes I need to go for a run for 10 minutes, or just sit on my sofa and eat an ice cream with Nutella and everything on it, you know? And I need that 10 minutes for myself. Sometimes I love my children, but come on, let's just leave me alone for 10 minutes. And I just need my space, my moment. So sometimes we don't have the courage. And okay, let's stop. Let's give ourselves that freedom of not being okay for that moment. Let's pick the energy from another place, and then you can restart. But give yourself time.
Well, great learning, great insights. We have two more questions. I think we won't have time for my questions, which is great, which is great because, you know, this is for them. And we have two more questions. One is really interesting and a tricky one. So do you think that kids our age, 15, can make it as mini companies at the real world and market without the help of adults? The question comes from Naomi.
But yes, at the real market, well, let's face it. Of course, it's easier if you get some help. So it's very important for us to create our connections, our network that can help us through difficulties. And because people who have more experience sometimes can add some things, and we can learn from their mistakes and so on. You can learn from your mistakes. But if someone had that mistakes before you can learn from them. So I think it's always useful if you can have their help. Anyway, it's possible. It is if you have the right methodologies. Especially if your company are trying to solve a real problem. When you think about innovation, you must think about two things. When I teach innovation, it's always two things. What's the problem that you want to solve? Who cares about it? Because when you are trying to solve a problem that no one cares about it, well, you're not solving anything. But when you are selecting a problem that you want to solve, you're not in passion with your idea, with your solution, but you're in passion with the problem that you want to solve. And you know exactly who is the owner of the problem, who is going to care about your solution, then you have a winner. Then you have a solution, an innovation that can solve it. So you are able to sell it. So what you can think about your mini companies right now as you are written down is what kind of problem that I'm going to solve? Who cares about it? Who is my target? Who is going to buy this product, this service? You know, and with that, of course, you can achieve success. But of course, if you have the right methodologies, the right capabilities, and that's why it's very important to have these teams with different capabilities in the team, multidisciplinary, because everyone can add something. Okay.
Great, Marta. Let's have the final question. It comes from Alex from Slovakia. And the question is, I would like to ask about time management. The thing is that I have a lot of activities, and in a lot of them, I would like to achieve some goals. However, now I need to achieve a certificate from German language, and I can't find the time to learn for it. I know I have to shorten the time I spend over some of the activities, but my question is which or how to decide which one I have to quit. What are the questions I should ask myself to decide between my activities?
Okay, so really nice question. I think it's when you have a lot of activities, it's very important because your time management improves. But sometimes you must, as you are saying, and it's very rational from your part that you are saying, well, I need to make choices, because if I try to do everything at the time, I will not be succeeded or well succeeded in none of it. I will just know a little bit about it. What I think it's better, and it's something that I learned only on the MBA, because before that, I was always thinking, well, if I'm not good enough on this discipline, I must work harder to get to improve. And of course, it's true, but only until a limit. Because when you want to really excel on something, you must select the thing that you are really good at. For instance, my daughter is very good at volleyball and also ballet, but she will need to choose. She will need to choose. So what's the thing that it's making her happier, and the thing that she excels, she is better than the others. I know this is like well, I want to be better than it seems like a very, I don't know, tough way of doing this, but that's the truth. When you go to the market, you need to be better than the others. You need to get the attention of a company if you want to work for that company, and so on and so forth. So it's very important for you, Alex, to understand, well, when I have this activity A or B, am I really going to be good enough on both of them, or I can excel on this one? This one will take me to a different level, a higher level, and then you choose that one. That's why it's very important to know yourself. Well, I'm good enough in math, but I can excel on biology. Okay, go to biology. Just understand where are you good at, very good at, and because that's where you are going to shine. That's where you are going to differentiate from the others. So I would say select, of course, what makes you happy, but also it's where do you really excel, when you can differentiate from the others, from your competitors.
Really good. Thank you, Marta. Before we close, because we're getting to the end, before we close, I would like to call Salvatore again. So any final remark before I close? Salvatore, any message? What did you get from this presentation that really marked you and you're going to take home for your day?
I think it's really about focused was the third of the words, right? To really be focused on what we do. We get so many inputs from family, friends, works, activities that we do, and we tend to flatten priorities, and this does not really help. So being focused to me is definitely what I retain more than the others for myself. And Fred?
Yep.
You? Organized?
Okay, myself.
Self-conscious?
So, yeah, basically 2 points. First is luck is a lot of work. That was a sentence used in your presentation. I totally agree with that. Things that don't just happen. They don't just come. And you talked a lot about taking responsibility and, planning your achievements. And that's what our teams did this year. During the whole year, no matter the difficult circumstances we have all been through, but they decided that they would achieve this, and they came to this point not because they were lucky, but because there was a lot of work in it. And the second one was the sentence that really marked me in your presentation, which was, any fool can know, the point is to understand. And I think that regarding our students and their process and their path to come to this stage of the competition, I think the most important thing they can get from this whole process, I mean, I know you're anxious to see who's getting the awards, and now it's a time where all the excitement is. I'm anxious as well. But in the end, what you all, I think, all can take away is you have known a bit more about yourselves. You understood a bit more about yourselves. You didn't just get the hard skills. You got a process of understanding you and your team and how you can work as a team and so on and so forth. So I think that understanding what this experience brings to you is basically what we all wish you do in the end of the process. Not necessarily only be happy if you take the award. Be happy because you have achieved already something. And that, I think these are the 2 points I would take away. And so, Marta, thank you once again. It was really inspiring and instructive. And by the comments we have here in the chat, we can see that people really liked it.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted with all the comments. You're very kind.
It was great. We will keep on going to this road to COIC 2020. Salvatore, a while you said this was our 300th webinar, but we still have one tomorrow. So we have one tomorrow with Manpower, and they're going to explore the topic, Reboot Yourself from Resilience to Reimagination. And it's going to happen at 11 a.m. Central European Time. See you then. Have a very nice day wherever you are. Thank you, everyone. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Salvatore.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Acabou?